Alright, it's a week later. You can see that the liquid has pretty much been all sucked up. There's still some in there, but it's really just sucked up all the liquid. That's a good thing. I'm getting the smoker ready now. I'm missing a rack. I bought the thing secondhand, so I'm going to be short on space, but I think what I'm going to do is get as much into the smoker as I can and do some smoked and some not smoked and compare it. I just took a couple of pieces and fried it up in the frying pan with my breakfast, and it is just amazing. So I'm really got high hopes for this jerky. Well, there's all 3 racks loaded up. I got, I would say, a little more than half of it in there, which works out well. Smoked that with cherry and apple, and I'm going to chuck this stuff right into the dehydrator right now. We'll show you how that goes. Alright, I got to load it. It's almost 3 trays. That top tray is not quite full, but the bottom 2 are pretty full. So that does tell me it's about half. And look, there's really not much left here in the line of liquid, which means all the lovely liquid is soaked up into the meat. And as I was saying, I fried up a couple for breakfast, and you could really taste the maple. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be pretty much all day in here, and we'll keep you posted. I guess by the time you get this, it'll be done anyway, and you'll be able to just see. Oh yeah, and there's my Instant Pot, because it kind of lives there because I use it so much. You see my other video with my stew. I'll be making another one today for my lunches for work. Alright, we got about an hour and a half of smoke here at the moment. Still not very smoky looking. Smells good though. So we'll definitely give that a good bit. Let's just flip one of these over and see what the bottom looks like. Oh yeah, not a whole lot of smoke yet. They're pretty wet, so they don't take up the smoke as much. We'll definitely let that go for another hour at least. Alright, we're about 3 hours. Let's have a look. Yeah, we got some smoke going on here for sure. They're still pretty wet. That's why normally when you smoke something they say to pat it off, because when it's really wet it doesn't absorb the smoke as well. But that's okay. I'm going to give that some more smoke. Let's go have a look at what the dehydrator's doing. Alright, we'll just have a look at what we got here. That's the same 3 hours. So this is jerking up nicely. There's the one I just flipped a moment ago. I could eat that. In fact, I will. It was nice and thin, so it's cooked. Oh man. That is going to be a really good batch of jerky, I gotta say. That is going to be fantastic. That was really thin, so it's pretty much done. Most of them aren't that thin. Alright, rock and roll, 3 hours in. Okay, it's done smoking here. It's got about 4 hours. I turned off the smoke. And I'm going to chuck these into the dehydrator now, along with the other stuff. I've got 2 racks left. We'll see if I can get it all in there. Alright, I just unplugged this guy, and I flipped all of these not too long ago. And I got 2 extra racks here, and I got all of this stuff from the smoker. This is all obviously the stuff that's not been smoked. And I'm going to make some space in here and get the other stuff in here, and we'll see how it goes from here on in. It's got a wonderful smoky smell. This stuff is almost done. I'm surprised actually. It's been 4 hours in the dehydrator, the same amount of time that's been in the smoker, and it's feeling pretty leathery, and I think probably it could be considered done, but I'm going to leave it in for at least another hour or so. So I'm going to just rack it all up, and we'll report back in a bit. Okay, wow, this is really good. This is all stuff here that that was in the smoker. Some of it Let me see. A few pieces here are a little bit thicker and they're not fully dried out yet. And the stuff that was, this was stuff in the smoker too, this layer. Let me see if I can find a piece. Well, these ones, this one is quite thick. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the stuff. You can see the difference here. This was in the smoker. That's really thick. This was stuff that was not in the smoker. And it's quite done at this point. So what I'm going to do, and this whole layer, the next two layers are stuff that were not in the smoker. I'm going to take the stuff out that was not in the smoker, and the stuff that was in the smoker, I'm going to put it back in for another hour or so. One thing to note with doing jerky, some of it, when you're slicing it this way, the way I did, some of it is going to dry out. The thinner stuff is going to dry out more than others. When you put it into an airtight container like a Ziploc bag or something and leave it there for a few days, the moisture in the meat distributes itself throughout all of the meat in the bag. So the stuff that is less dry will give up its moisture to the stuff that is more dry, and it will just kind of even itself out after a couple of days in the bag, or even a day or so. So that's what I rely on when I'm doing jerky this way. So I'm going to take all this stuff out and put it in a Ziploc bag, and the stuff that was in the smoker is going to get another hour or so of drying out. Right at this point in time, it is, let me see, it is almost 7 hours since the start time. It's about 6 hours and 45 minutes, just for your point of reference. Alright, it's 2 more hours now. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to take this and put it into the bag with the other stuff. It's really fantastic jerky. You got to try it. Easy to make.